Hi guys, Jason here. So, I put this together last night. This is I guess this is going to be a short preview of my compost tumbler. Now, I've looked at a lot of different designs and a lot of different possibilities for this, and using a barrel and whatnot. I like the idea of using the barrel because they're cheap. About $20 a piece for the snap-on lid, or the snap ring types right here. And they're very efficient as far as you can open them up and you can get completely inside and take everything out that you want to take. Now, one of the things that's important to me was obviously the expense. You're looking at maybe $30 for everything involved here, not including the sawhorses. Those are temporary until I get some 2x4s. And right now, I just have the one. I plan on buying at least 2 more, or building at least 2 more. But I filled it up last night to test it out, so it's already got material in it. But we're going to take a look inside and outside, and I'll show you more about it. So I measured exactly in the middle of this. This is the same length, these barrels are, of a yardstick. So I used a yardstick, and it actually has a 1/2 mark on it. If you look real close, I don't know if this is going to show up, but right in front of my finger there's actually a line. There's a line on both sides, indicating a 1/2 mark on the barrels. So that allowed me to put this exactly in the center, both top and all the way around, circumference-wise. In the middle here, put them on their sleeves that you put on the end of an EMT conduit and put inside of a junction box. I don't know what the actual term for them are, but that's what they are. It's basically just a type of sleeve. And I put one on both sides, as well as put a piece of 3/4 inch conduit all the way through the middle. What that allows is whenever I tumble this, it keeps me from losing any of my materials. Inside, like I said, I've already filled this up. What I did was I had some mulched leaves that a friend of mine brought me. He does lawn mowing and such. So I've got some mulched up leaves, and then I just mowed my grass yesterday, so I grabbed a pile of grass. And what I've got in here is a 70-30 brown to green ratio. So that means I got 70% leaves and 30% grass in here. Tilt this down a little bit and see. Sorry about the camera movement here. So I've got the 3/4 inch conduit going all the way through, and that keeps any of my material, once it starts becoming compost and dirt, from falling out of my side holes, which is a problem that you may encounter. Above where I drill my hole here, I put a bunch of, I think these were 1/4 inch or just under 1/4 inch holes. I don't know what the bit size was. But I put them all the way around above this first band. And this gives me 2 options. 1, it allows for an airflow, which you need. 2, it's not so large that when it does get airflow, it's getting a whole lot of airflow, and it's not letting insects in. It does allow a good volume of airflow to go through, but unlike a lot of composting bins that'll have like big holes that just have a screen over them, this just allows a lot of airflow to go through the bin. But let's say my bin is getting dry and it needs more moisture and it needs more heat for activation. It's not getting warm enough, say it's wintertime or whatever. All I have to do is flip my barrel over, and now all the heat's going to rise to the top of the barrel, and it's going to stay and it's going to stagnate, while also allowing the material to get flow through of air underneath and to drain out any excess water. You want the material to stay wet, but you don't want it to be soaking, sopping wet where it's dripping water. So by flipping it over, I can allow water to get out. I can actually take this, and the entire top of it's open. So I can actually turn it and dump it into a bucket or into a barrel or a wheelbarrow, bucket or a wheelbarrow, or into the back of a cart. And I don't have to worry about all this material spilling out. I don't have to use a shovel. It makes it a lot simpler. The weight of what I have in here now is approximately 50 pounds. I don't know the exact rate. If you'll hang on a second, let me put this band back on. So the way these bands work is they go on, and then you just have to give them a tight squeeze, and they even have a little locking mechanism here. So now the barrel's put back together, and it doesn't take a whole lot. I'm going to take with one arm, I'm going to give it one good pull. Oops, I almost flipped the whole thing over because it's not anchored real well. So as you can see, using just the one arm, and not with a lot of force either, I'm flipping the whole thing. There's approximately 40 pounds of material in there right now. I don't know what it's going to turn into. That's why this is a preview. But cost effective wise, I'm looking at about 30 bucks for all the materials that I've used. About $3 a piece for the 1/2 inch EMT conduit, $3 a piece for the 3/4 inch conduit, and I think it was $5 or like $2 or $3 for a 5-pack of those things. So I've got enough conduit to build 2 more, or I got enough conduit and supplies to build 2 more, and then I just have to buy the barrels. So effectively, let's see, it's 60, 70. So for about $75, you could build 3 of these tumblers, which gives you the ability to make 3 separate batches at 3 separate times. I don't know what the volume is in here. It's 55 gallons, and it's filled probably about 60 to 75% full at this point. So I don't know how many cubic yards that would be estimated into in gallons. But once it breaks down, I'll give you guys an update at how well it worked. So there you have it. That's my fairly cheap and seemingly enough efficient compost tumbler. I like this design more than most because the round designs seem to be harder to turn, and the design I originally wanted to do was I was going to turn it sideways and have rollers and then have to roll the whole barrel. And this design does several things. For one, I don't have to put any kind of handles on it because it has its own handles. Here the weight's at the bottom, but I can use leverage to move that weight, right? So now that I've used leverage to move the weight, it makes it easier for me to push down and drop that weight. Thirdly, it has a bar built into the middle, so every single time I tumble it, let's say I tumble it 5 or 6 times in a day, which allows me to, make sure it gets a thorough mixing. I don't have to put any kind of additional bars or any kind of little angle irons or anything in there. So every time I turn it, it's going to mulch up and mix up the materials for me. So it's a very simple design. So I'm going to keep you guys updated as to how this is going. And I'm Jason the Phone Boy. Appreciate your subscriptions and watching my videos. Hopefully you'll learn something. Have a nice day, guys.